This is Simplified Mathematics. Today, we will learn to multiply and divide fractions. Previously, we learned that fraction usually contains two parts, the upper part, which is called numerator, and the lower part, which is called denominator. In the last video, we learned how to add and subtract fractions. And in this video, we will learn how to multiply and divide. In order to multiply fractions, we will follow these simple steps. First, if there are common factors in both the upper numbers and the lower numbers, we will cancel them out. Then we can multiply all the upper numbers together. And then we can multiply all the lower numbers together too. Let's see what I mean by that. Let's say we have 1 over 3 multiplies 6 over 7. The first step is to cancel out the common factors that are in both the upper numbers and the lower numbers. The lower number 3 and the upper number 6 share a common factor, which is 3. So 3 divided by 3 will be 1. 6 divided by 3 will be 2. Now we can multiply the upper numbers. 1 times 2 will be 2. And for the lower numbers, 1 times 7 will be 7. So the answer here is 2 over 7. Now let's try adding one more term. The first step is to cancel out the common factors. The lower number 3 and the upper number 6 share a common factor, which is 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And now the lower number 7 and the upper number 49 also share a common factor, which is 7. 7 divided by 7 will be 1. 49 divided by 7 will be 7. And for the upper number 2 and the lower number 30, they also share a common factor, which is 2. 2 divided by 2 will be 1. 30 divided by 2 will be 15. Now we can multiply the upper numbers. 1 times 1 times 7 will be 7. And for the lower numbers, 1 times 1 times 15 will be 15. So the answer here is 7 over 15. Now let's try to multiply many numbers together. The first step is to cancel out the common factors. But be careful though, we cannot cancel out 7 over here and 7 over here because they are both the lower numbers. And we cannot cancel out 49 here and 49 here because they are both the upper numbers. However, the lower number 7 here and the upper number 49, they share a common factor, which is 7. So 7 divided by 7 will be 1. 49 divided by 7 will be 7. Same thing here, 7 divided by 7 will be 1. 49 divided by 7 will be 7. And for the upper number 6 and the lower number 30, they share a common factor, which is 6. 6 divided by 6 will be 1. And 30 divided by 6 will be 5. And for 16, the upper number here, and 24, the lower number here, they share a common factor, which is 8. 16 divided by 8 will be 2. 24 divided by 8 will be 3. And for the upper number 15 and the lower number 150, they share a common factor, which is 15. 15 divided by 15 will be 1. 150 divided by 15 will be 10. So we have one more. The upper number 2 here and the lower number 10, they share a common factor, which is 2. 2 divided by 2 will be 1. And 10 divided by 2 will be 5. I think that's it. Now we can multiply the upper numbers together. 1 times 1 times 7 times 7 times 1 will be 49. And for the lower numbers, 1 times 1 times 5 times 3 times 5 will be 75. So the answer here is 49 over 75. Now let's try dividing fractions. In order to divide fractions, we will follow these simple steps. First, we will change from divide into multiply, and then flip the fraction on the right into its reciprocal. Once we did that, we can follow the same steps that we use in multiplication. We can cancel out the common factors, then multiply the upper numbers together, and then multiply all the lower numbers together. Let's try taking a look at an example. Here we have 6 over 7 divided by 16 over 21. The first step is to change from divide into multiply, and flip fraction on the right into its reciprocal. So here we can have 6 over 7 multiply 21 over 16. Now we can cancel out the common factors. The upper number 6 and the lower number 16 share a common factor, which is 2. 6 divided by 2 will be 3. 16 divided by 2 will be 8. And 7, the lower number here, and 21, the upper number here, also share a common factor, which is 7. 7 divided by 7 will be 1. 21 divided by 7 will be 3. Now we can multiply all the upper numbers. 3 times 3 will be 9. 1 times 8 for the lower number will be 8. So the answer here is 9 over 8. How about 5 over 7 divided by 15 over 28? Again, we can change from divide into multiply and then flip the fraction into its reciprocal. And we can get 5 over 7 multiply 28 over 15. And now let's try cancel out the common factor. For the upper number 5 and the lower number 15, they share a common factor, which is 5. 5 divided by 5 will be 1. 15 divided by 5 will be 3. And for the lower number 7 and the upper number 28, they also share a common factor, which is 7. 7 divided by 7 will be 1. 28 divided by 7 will be 4. Now we can multiply all the upper numbers. 1 times 4 will be 4. And for the lower numbers, 1 times 3 will be 3. So the answer here is 4 over 3. How about 5 over 7 divided by 28? Notice that 28 here is actually 28 over 1. It's the same thing. So the reciprocal of 28 over 1 will be 1 over 28. And we can convert this into 5 over 7 times 1 over 28. Now let's try cancel out the common factors. But in this case, there are no common factors to cancel out. So we have to skip to the next step. For the upper parts, 5 times 1 will be 5. And for the lower part, 7 times 28 will be 196. So the answer here is 5 over 196. And this time let's try 5 over 7 divided by 1 over 28. This can be converted to 5 over 7 times 28, or 28 over 1. Then we can cancel out the common factors. The lower number 7 over here and the upper number 28 over here share a common factor, which is 7. 7 divided by 7 will be 1. 28 divided by 7 will be 4. Now we're gonna multiply it. So 5 times 4 will be 20. So the answer here is 20. Sometimes dividing of fractions can be written this way. For here it's 6 over 15 divided by 6 over 15. And we know that if a number is divided by the same number, the answer will be 1. So we will use the step above as we did before and see if the result will be 1 or not. So for over here, it's the same as 6 over 15 divided by 6 over 15. And that can be converted to 6 over 15 multiply 15 over 6. And now we can cancel out the common factors. The upper number 6 and the lower number 6 can be cancelled out. The lower number 15 and the upper number 15 can also be cancelled out. So when we multiply the things, the result's gonna be 1 as expected. This time let's try 6 over 15 divided by 12 over 5. So this is the same as 6 over 15 multiply 5 over 12. Now we can try cancel out the common factors. The upper number 6 and the lower number 12 share common factor, which is 6. 6 divided by 6 will be 1. 12 divided by 6 will be 2. And for the lower number 15 and the upper number 5, they also share common factor, 5. So 15 divided by 5 will be 3. 5 divided by 5 will be 1. Now we can multiply the upper numbers. 1 times 1 will be 1. And for the lower numbers, 3 times 2 will be 6. So the answer here is 1 over 6. Now let's try something a little bit more complicated. When there is a stack like this, I normally deal with the upper part first and then the lower part. For the upper part, it is multiplying of fractions, so we can try cancel out the common factors. The upper number 6 and the lower number 12 share a common factor, which is 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1 and 12 divided by 6 is 2. And for the lower number 7 and upper number 35, they share a common factor, which is 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 35 divided by 7 is 5. Now we can multiply the upper numbers together. 1 times 5 will give us 5. And for the lower numbers, 1 times 2 is 2. And for the lower part, it is still 5 over 18. And the division is still there. So we can get 5 over 2 multiply 18 over 5. Since now it's multiplication, we can cancel out the common factors. 5 and 5 can be cancelled out here. And now the lower number 2 and the upper number 18, they also share a common factor, which is 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So the answer here is 9. Now let's try mixing it up with addition and subtraction. If you don't remember how to do addition and subtraction, please go back to the last video and then come back to do this question later. And as I mentioned earlier, when we have a stack like this, first let's try the upper part. 5 over 6 plus 5 over 12. The key to addition is to make sure that the lower number is the same, and we can do that. In order to make it the same lower number, we can convert 5 over 6 into 10 over 12. And for 5 over 12, it is already there, so it's no problem. We leave it like that. Now the lower number is the same, we can add them up. And it's gonna be 15 over 12. And it can be simplified into 5 over 4. And for the lower part, it's 3 over 8 minus 1 over 3. The key step is also to make sure that the lower numbers is the same. And that can be done. 3 over 8 can be converted to 24 here and 9 up here. Minus for 1 over 3, it is 24 here and then 8 up here. Now the lower number is the same, we can do the subtraction, and it's gonna be 1 over 24. And now we can do the division here. So it is 5 over 4 divided by 1 over 24. And that can be converted to 5 over 4 times 24. And 24 divided by 4 here is gonna be 6. And now it's 5 times 6. It's gonna be 30. So the answer here is 30. Alright, let's try to summarize what we learned so far in this video. We learned to multiply fractions by following these simple steps. First, we can cancel out the common factors wherever possible. And then we can multiply all the upper numbers together. And then multiply all the lower numbers together too. And for dividing fractions, we add one more extra step at the beginning. When we see dividing, we will change it into multiplying the reciprocal. And once we did that, we can follow the same steps as we did in multiplication. Cancel out the common factors, multiply the upper numbers, and then multiply the lower numbers. Multiplying and dividing fractions share similar steps, but you should still practice a little bit more. Math is a subject that you need to practice in order to be comfortable with it. Good luck!